गुड इवनिंग टू ऑल ऑफ यू। आज हमारा टॉपिक है जो क्यूआरएमपी स्कीम है एंड जो रिसेंट चेंजेस हुए हैं which would be applicable from 1st of Jan 2021. So we'll start our topic in 2 minutes. I hope screen is visible to all of you. Could you please confirm and voice is okay so that we can start our deliberation. Uh, am I audible now? Am I audible now? Fair enough. Fair enough. Thank you. So, we were talking about that notification 143 is talking about the QRMP scheme, and this QRMP, to implement the QRMP scheme, the following amendment has been carried out: notification number 81, notification number 82, notification number 84 and 85, who are not eligible. Sir, if aggregate turnover is exceeding, if aggregate turnover is exceeding 5 crore, which period? Either in the preceding financial year, either in the preceding financial year, or for during the financial year in any quarter, meaning thereby either in the preceding financial year I cannot opt QRMP scheme, or sir, last financial year my turnover is okay, but what about in the current year? It's exceed 5 crore. When it will exceed, you are not eligible. A facility is open for throughout the financial year. Now let's take one simple example, that I like to opt from July to September quarter. I like to opt from July to September quarter. What is the time period within which I have to apply for the QRMP scheme? This is my point. This point I like to explain. There is a period, sir, there is a period within which I have to apply. The first preceding quarter. What would be the preceding quarter? Sir, April to June. What will be the first day of second month? Second month is May. First day means 1st of May. Now, second point. What is the current quarter? Sir, July to September, for which I like to opt QRMP. Now, the quarter is July to September. What is the last day of the first month? You can say the 31st July. You can say 31st July. Then what is the time limit within which I have to apply so that I can opt QRMP scheme? For which quarter? July to September quarter. It means I have to opt between first day of May to 31st July. But there is a one condition. But there is one condition. What is the condition? That all return should be furnished which is due on the date of availing or exercising that option. Now, once I opt this scheme, registered person are not required to exercise the option every quarter. Where such option has been exercised once, they shall continue to furnish the return as per the selected option for furnishing the tax periods unless they revise the option. It means either the option has been amended or I am ineligible. Till that period, once I selected, I will continue to file the quarterly return. What is the default migration? what is the default migration? To facilitate the taxpayer, they have given one default migration option for the first quarter of the scheme, that is January to March 2021. All the registered person whose aggregate turnover in the preceding year is up to 5 crore and was furnished the GSTR 3B of October 20. It means last month, by which date I have to file? By 30th November 2020. It means this month end, if I file the return for previous October 3B, then I would be automatically migrated to the QRMP scheme. There may be the three possibility. My turnover is up to 1.5 crore and I am filing the GSTR1 quarterly. Then what would be the automatic option? Quarterly. Second, if my turnover in the preceding financial year or up to 1.5 crore and I have opted GSTR1 monthly, in that case, default option is monthly. The third category, if my turnover is more than 1.5 crore but up to 5 crore, currently I do not have the option. Sorry, this is monthly. The GSTR1 which I am filing currently, that is monthly. But what is the default migration? Quarterly. And if I like to make changes, I am not okay with the default migration, sir, option is there to edit the default migration. And what is the period? From 5th of December to 31st Jan. There are certain general points which we have to take care. If the GSTR 3B for October 20 has not been filed till 30th November, so I agree that default migration, to avail the default migration, my GSTR 3B of October had to be filed by 30th November. Next question come, what if my return is being not filed by 30th November? In that case, you are not eligible for default migration, but yes, you can migrate yourself even after that. Condition same, that all the return which is due on the date of conversion, date of opting the QRMP scheme has been filed. Or I have opted new registration, or I have migrated from composition to the regular. In that case also, the option will be given for QRMP scheme. This is important point. In case aggregate turnover exceed 5 crore in any quarter in the current financial year. This is very interesting question I like to ask from all the participants. Akshay Kumar ji, QRMP means quarterly return, monthly payment, new system which are going to be started from 1st of Jan. Say for example, I have opted for QRMP scheme. Let's assume that in July to September quarter next year, in the month of the July, I have received the turnover, I have received the order for 5 crore, exceeding 5 crore. Now tell me, for the month of August, in July, my turnover exceed. Then from August, will I be opted out from QRMP? Whether I have to file the monthly return from August onward or from next quarter? I am saying I have the two questions. I have given the two options. My turnover in the month of July has been exceeded from 5 crore. So total turnover exceed 5 crore. I have opted QRMP scheme. It means I was filing the return quarterly basis. Then please tell me then please tell me that from August onward, should I have to file monthly, or from any other period I have to file? Any guess? Any idea? So point to be noted. Fine. That in the quarter, for any month, if July, my turnover exceed 5 crore, in that case, you are continue to file quarterly return for the same quarter, but from next quarter, from the first day of the next quarter, you have to file monthly returns. I hope it's clear. I hope it's clear. Whatever the question, we will discuss at the end of the webinar. Definitely we will discuss. We will not leave any question pending. So first, we'll give the concentration on the particular changes that has been made. Now, for distinct person, different scheme is allowed. This is also important. I am having the 5 registration in the GST, but permanent account number is 1. I can opt different option for each GSTIN number. One for the QRMP quarterly, one for the QRMP if I like to opt, or if I don't like to opt, I can go for the monthly. So both the options are possible. In the distinct person case, I can opt different option. Now I like to talk GSTR1. Details of outward supply. Under section 37. GSTR1 quarterly as per the rule 59, the first and second month. So this is the biggest problem. This is the biggest problem in the current date. In the current situation, we are talking about, sir, how we can take the ITC if my supplier filing the GSTR1 quarterly basis. Yes or no? Sir, that is the bigger problem. If my supplier filing the GSTR1 quarterly basis, how I can take the ITC in GSTR3B for monthly? The problem is going to be resolved with effect from Jan 2021 with the new option, that is IFF. What is the full form of the IFF? Invoice Furnishing Facility on monthly basis. So assume that supplier filing the GSTR1 on quarterly basis. Now, what he have to do for the first month and second month? Sir, he has been given the facility to upload B2B transaction. He has given the facility to upload B2B transaction on monthly basis through IFF. But there is a period within which the information has to be given. Between the first day of succeeding month to the 13th day of the succeeding month. For example, July to September quarter. So for the July, he is not required to file the GSTR1. For August, he is not required to file the GSTR1. For September, yes, he will file the GSTR1 for entire quarter. What will happen for the July? He has the option to add the invoices of B2B transaction up to 50 lakh. Maximum value he can add 50 lakhs. Up to 50 lakhs through IFF facility. Also, circular has clarified that he can upload on continuous basis. Not necessary that he has to upload all the information in a particular single day. No, sir. On first, he can upload some information. On second, on third, on fourth. But what is the period within which he has to upload? From 1st to 13th of succeeding month. What will happen if it is uploading the information? Kindly give attention that such supply will be duly reflected in 2A as well as in 2B. The such facility is not mandatory. It is only optional facility given to the registered person for QRMP scheme. If yes, he like to opt, he can. Then information which has already been added, for example July, for example September, supplier has added certain information. Then for the month of the September, when he will file the GSTR 1, he will not require to add those information again. It means the invoices which has been uploaded through IFF, that invoice not required to be uploaded again. And please note, this is the option, this is not mandatory. Now for the GSTR 1 we have discussed first month, second month and third month. Now monthly payment of the tax. What is the name of the scheme? QRMP, quarterly return monthly payment. So for the monthly payment, in each of the first 2 months of the quarter, amount has to be deposited through PMT 06. By the 25th day of the succeeding month, what is the due date? Currently, the due date is 20th. We have to deposit the tax along with the GSTR 3B. But from Jan onward, from the month of the January 2021, we are required to deposit the tax by 25th of the succeeding month through PMT 06. But there is one changes. What is the changes? That there will be one drop down. Monthly payment for quarterly taxpayer. Monthly payment for quarterly taxpayer. That reason has to be selected. The said person can use any of the following two options provided below for the monthly payment of the tax during the first 2 months. Now the question, how much amount need to be deposited? कितना अमाउंट डिपॉजिट करना पड़ेगा PMT 06 में? Two option. First option, fixed sum method. Second option, self assessment method. We are first discussing the fixed sum method with the help of example. The fixed sum method facility for generating pre-filled challan in the PMT 06 for an amount equal to, it's depend for the previous period. For example, I am talking about January, February, March 21. What we are required to do? We have to deposit the tax for the month of Jan. By which date? 25th of February. Fine. So on 25th of Feb, how much amount I need to pay? On 25th of Feb, how much amount I need to pay? So it is saying that your previous returns, your previous period, are you filing monthly or quarterly? If you are filing quarterly return, then what is the tax you have paid? Multiply by 35%. So 35% I have to pay the tax in cash. Or if I am filing the monthly return, then whatever the tax you paid in the previous month, equal amount you have to pay in the current month. Repeating again with the help of example, assuming the last return filed was on quarterly basis. So I have paid 100 CGST, 100 SGST, 500 IGST, 50 rupees cess. As you are filing quarterly, multiply by 35%. So in the current month, we have to pay 35 CGST, 35 SGST, and 775 IGST and 17.5 cess. Now assume that in the previous period I was filing the written on monthly basis, and now for this period I am opting quarterly return. What will happen, sir? Whatever the tax you paid, equal amount, 100% equal amount of the tax which you paid in the last month, that you have to pay. It means 50, 50 and 80 I have to pay. This method has to be adopted for the first and second month. This method has to be adopted for the first and second month, because on the third month I am filing the return, and in which actual tax payment will be made. Now, that is okay. On self-assessment method, that we all know, we can calculate ourselves that how much is the tax liability, how much is the ITC, then I can pay the net amount in cash. The said person in any case can pay the tax due by considering the tax liability on inward supply and outward supply and the ITC available, and then pay the same in the PMT 06. In order to facilitate the ascertainment of the ITC available, an auto drafted ITC statement has been made available in 2B for every month. The registered person may not deposit any amount for the said month. When a registered person is not required to pay any amount, first, if the balance in the electronic credit ledger and cash ledger, point to be noted that 35% is not only considering the cash component. Say certain amount are lying in the electronic credit ledger, I will calculate after utilizing the ECL amount. I will calculate the liability after reducing the amount lying in the electronic credit ledger, and then is adequate for the tax due for the first month of the quarter, or when there is a nil tax liability. Refund, for example, while paying the tax on monthly basis or second month, I have paid excess amount. What to do that amount? So for the first month, for the second month, assuming that you have paid extra amount, then can you claim the refund? Yes, you can claim the refund, but point only after filing the GSTR 3B. It means, for example, I have deposited extra in the month of the July. I have to wait for that quarter, and then once the 3B would be filed, I can apply for the refund, or I can use in the subsequent tax period. Quarterly filing of 3B. Let's discuss certain points for the quarterly filing of 3B. Such a registered person would be required to furnish 3B for each quarter on or before 22nd or 24th. Can anybody tell me why there is no 28th? क्या GSTR 3B की ड्यू डेट को एक्सटेंड कर दिया, इंस्टेड ऑफ 20 अब 22 और 24 कर दी? यहां पे मुझे 20 क्यों नहीं दिखाई दे रहा? Can anybody help me? What is the reason that I am unable to see the date 28th? I am waiting for answer. GAASAI, यस, अभी आपको सब्सिक्वेंट स्लाइड में दिखाई देगा। GSTR 2B का जो चेंजेस है ना, वो आपको सब्सिक्वेंट स्लाइड में मैं डिस्कस करूंगा। थोड़ा सा चेंज हुआ है यहाँ पे। Waiting for the reply. New date notified. Okay. We all know that the QRMP scheme quarterly return is option available only to those taxpayer. Quarterly return option is available to those taxpayer having the aggregate turnover up to 5 CR. If my turnover is up to 5 CR in the current date, also in the current time, what is the due date for the GSTR 3B? Either 22nd or 24. Either 22nd or 24. Correct. So because the QRMP will be opted by those taxpayer having the turnover up to 5 crore. So as on date also, the due date is 22nd or 24th. Same point. Now, such registered person would be required to furnish 3B either on 22nd or 24th. Now in the 3B, they shall declare the supply made during the quarter, ITC availed during the quarter, and all other detail required to furnish therein, which we are doing currently. The amount deposited by the registered person in the first 2 months shall be debited for the purpose of offsetting the liability. We know that first month, second month, we have paid the same through PMT 06, which will be lying in electronic cash ledger, That amount you can offset in the 3B. However, any amount left after filing the GSTR 3B may either be claimed as a refund or may be utilized for the subsequent quarter. Cancellation of registration and its impact on 3B. Cancellation of registration and its impact on 3B. In the QRMP new system, that if you have cancelled your registration, even though, for example, the same quarter, July to September, assuming that in the month of August you have cancelled the registration, then also for July, August and September quarter, for July to September quarter, the 3B has to be filed. It is mandatory to file GSTR 3B. Now the question, very interesting question, that do I need to pay the interest? Assuming that actual tax liability for the month coming higher, but you have deposited less amount. Question come that do I need to pay the interest? It depends upon the method which you have applied. So can anybody tell me? I'm requesting every participant that what are those two methods? What are those two methods which is available for payment of the tax? The name of the two method available for the payment of the tax. We all know that while filing the return, while filing the monthly payment of the tax, quantum, how much amount I need to pay, there are two methods. Please let me know the name of the two methods. Please have the name. Please give the name of the two methods which we discuss. There are two methods, sir. Correct? There are two methods. What are the name? What are the name of these two methods? In making the or in identify amount which I need to pay, amount of the tax which I need to pay on monthly basis, there are two methods. The first is fixed sum method. Second is self-assessment method. First is fixed sum method. Second is self-assessment method. Yes. Give me 1 minute only. Extremely sorry. First is fixed sum method. Second is self-assessment method. So if I have opted fixed sum method, what is the impact of interest? If I have opted self-assessment method, what is the impact of the interest? Both we are going to discuss one by one. The first is fixed sum method. Okay, in the fixed sum method, whether I am depositing at my own or the system is calculating or the system is saying something that you have to pay this much amount. Sir, the formula has been given in the circular or in the notification itself. How much amount I need to pay, that has been decided by the GST law. It means that if I am using the fixed sum method, please note one thing, that if I am using the fixed sum method, if I have deposited 35% or equal to the tax, there are two options. If previous period return frequency is quarterly, then 35% of the previous quarter, or if the return frequency is monthly, then whatever the tax you paid in the previous month equal to that. If I have paid that much of amount, even though my actual tax liability comes higher than that, doesn't matter, no interest liability. If I have paid 35% or 100%, whatever the amount has been given in the rules notification, if I have deposited that much amount, actual liability to be ignored for the purpose of calculation of interest. I hope it's clear. Now, what would be the second? Let's discuss. I'm sharing the screen with all of you. If while furnishing the 3B, it is found that in any or both of the first 2 months, the tax liability net of available credit on the supply made or received was higher than the amount paid in challan, no interest would be charged, provided deposit system calculated amount for first month and second month. That's it. In such payment of the tax by depositing the system calculated amount in PMT 06 is not done by the due date, interest would be payable at the applicable rate. Again asking the question, what is the due date? What is the due date for monthly payment of the tax through PMT 06? What is the due date for monthly payment of the tax? Due date क्या है? What is the due date for monthly payment of the tax? Thank you very much, Ajay Kumar ji, CA Siva Kishore ji, Jaldin ji, Vijay Azmera ji, Anita Tiwari ji, Sheikh Saab, Amit Jain ji. Yes, you all are right in my previous question. Now the next question, what is the due date to deposit the tax on monthly basis? To deposit the tax on monthly basis. Yes, absolutely correct. Balaji sir has given the correct reply. 25th of subsequent month. Absolutely, actual word is being used, month. 25th of subsequent month, I have to pay the tax. If I have not deposited by 25th, then yes, interest would be applicable. Interest would be applicable. Absolutely correct. Gasai ji, GAASAI. So next, further in case 3B, which I am required to file the quarterly basis, is furnished beyond the due date, either 22nd or 24th, beyond the due date, then yes, interest would be payable under section 50. And please note one thing, net of input tax credit. Illustration 1 and illustration 2, both illustration has been explained, so you can read simply. Now, if I have opted the self-assessment method for payment of the tax, and I have calculated the tax liability, and assuming that amount which you calculated is fall short from the tax which you paid on monthly basis. For registered person making the payment of the tax, interest amount would be payable under section 50 if for the tax or any part thereof net of ITC which remain unpaid or short paid. Interest payable shall be paid through GSTR 3B. It is clarified that no late fees is applicable for delay in payment of the tax in first 2 months of the quarter. Currently, we all know that if 3B, which is monthly, not filed by due date, then 25, 50 rupees or 20 rupees per day late fees is applicable. Whether the late fees would be applicable in case I have not deposited the tax in time, answer is no. Only interest, correct? Now, I hope it's clear. So basic idea has been given. Now I'm moving to the each and every notification. Till now, if you have any question, please ask me. Any question? What is the full form of IFF? What is the full form of IFF? What is the full form of IFF? Yes, Rinki Janji, it would be 35% system calculated. If I adopted the fixed sum method, the pre-filled challan will be appear. Okay. So what is the full form of IFF? So waiting for the answer, and meanwhile I am moving to the next slide. Notification number 81. The amendment, this notification 81 was appointed the day effective from 10th of November itself. What was the changes? It has made effective the section 97. Sir, section 97? Sir, section 97 of the Finance Act. What is the section 97? It has made it has replaced the subsection 1 and 2 of section 39. Section 39, every registered person other than ISDP, NRTP, composition levy, TDS or TCS for every calendar month furnish the return electronically of inward and outward supplies of the goods or services or both, ITC availed, tax payable, paid and such other particular in such form and such manner and such time as may be prescribed. What is the proviso? Provided that government may notify certain class of the registered person who shall file the return on quarterly. What is the subsection 2? That it is applicable for composition levy, that registered person paying the tax under the provision of section 10, that is composition levy. So again, for each financial year or part thereof, required to furnish the return in such form, such manner and such time as may be prescribed. Earlier, the time has been fixed. If you compare the section 39 subsection 2 prior to this amendment, the time, that is 18th of the succeeding month of the after the quarter, that was written in the act itself. Now they are saying that what the time limit would be prescribed. Now subsection 7 has also been amended. Every registered person who is required to furnish the return under subsection 1 other than the person referred to in the proviso who were referred in the proviso, quarterly filing, or subsection 3, that is TDS, or subsection 5, that is NRTP. NRTP means non-resident taxable person. NRTP, non-resident taxable person. It means every registered person other than quarterly filer, other than TDS, other than NRTP shall pay the taxes not later than the last day on which return is required to be furnished. It means they are talking about the monthly filer. They are talking about the monthly filer. From this, they have fixed the due date of the tax. They have linked the due date of the tax with the due date of the returns. I hope it's clear. If you say what is the due date of the tax payment, sir, the due date is linked to the due date of the return in case monthly filer. And in case of the quarterly, we have already discussed. Proviso says that every registered person furnishing the return under the proviso to subsection 1, that is quarterly GSTR 3B, shall pay the tax due into account inward and outward and ITC tax payable such other particular in such form and such manner and such time as may be prescribed. So in subsequently, you will see the notification which is prescribing the time, quantum, etc. Second proviso, it has been newly inserted. It was not there. Provided that every registered person furnishing the return under subsection 2, that is composition levy, shall pay to the government the tax due into account turnover in the state, inward supplies, tax payable, such other particular, in such form, such manner, and such time as may be prescribed. Now, the amendment in the CGST rules, we have to see carefully. Rule 59, sub rule 1. Every registered person other than OIDAR, what is the full form? Online Information Database Access Retrieval Services, will require to file the GSTR 1 either monthly or quarterly depending upon the turnover. This is sub rule 2, which has been amended. Every registered person who has opted 3B on quarterly basis, it means they are linking, they are talking the proviso to section 39 subsection 1. Furnish the details of such outward supply. Which registered person? It means they are talking about B2B transaction. First month and second month of every quarter. First month and second month of every quarter. Maximum upper limit 50 lakhs. Invoice furnishing facility through IFF till 13th of next month. Now you are able to recall, you are able to connect that whatever the time, condition and form as may be prescribed. Now the particular things has been prescribed in the rule 59. Now rule 59 sub rule 3 saying that in the third month of the quarter, you are not required to submit information through IFF. You will submit through GSTR 1, and in the GSTR 1, exclude those information, exclude those invoices which has been submitted, which has been entered through IFF. Form and details of the outward supply. Rule 59 sub rule 5 is saying that furnished through IFF include invoice wise inter and intrastate to only registered person, or debit note or credit note for the previous invoices. Debit note and credit note issued in the current month for the previous invoices. And what GSTR 1 will include, that we all know. Whatever we are filing currently, whether it is B2B, B2C large, B2C small, consolidated detail of B2CS, debit note or credit note, all those amendment etc. will continue. I'm talking about the rule 60. Form and manner of ascertaining the details of inward supplies. The outward supply, supplier once filed the GSTR 1 or through IFF, please note the word IFF has been inserted in the rule 60. Supplier filing the GSTR1, which would be quarterly maybe or monthly, or if he has adopted the quarterly, then in that case, the details furnished through IFF will be made available in the part A of GSTR 2A or 4A or 6A. 4A in case of composition levy or 6A in case of IST. Next, if the detail of invoices and supplier is non-resident taxable person, he is filing the GSTR 5, then it will be made available in the part A. Next, if the supplier is ISD, Information Service Distributor, input service distributor, then is filing the GSTR 6, and that detail will be available in the part B of the GSTR 2A. Similarly, TDS or TCS, then he is filing the GSTR 7 or 8, it will made available in the part C of the GSTR 2A. Next, import details of the import of the goods from overseas or SEZ through IceGate, and it will be available in the part D of the GSTR 2A. This is new things. Earlier, this was not available. Currently, from the previous month itself, this information was made available, that now we can see in the 2A the details of import or goods taken from the SEZ unit by the DTA. Request everyone to give the attention that sub-rule 7 and sub-rule 8 again amended, and now I can say this is the legal backing of the GSTR 2B. Auto drafted statement containing the detail of input tax credit. Please underline the word. They are saying input tax credit. Auto drafted statement containing the details of ITC shall be made available to the registered person in 2B. Now I can say that which document I have to use for ITC, either 2A or 2B. My view would be 2B, because the rule has been effective. Now the 2B would be the document which we should use for the purpose of ITC. Also, for analyzing only this point, we have made separate video. The previous video, you can refer that video also. Next point, someone has asked the question that in 2B, what information, whether information will be up to 11 or up to 13. Refer the rule 60 sub rule 7. The details of outward supplies furnished by the supplier between the day immediately after the due date, if point number 1, if GSTR1 opted to file monthly basis. If GSTR1 opted to file on monthly basis, then the due date of the previous month, after that, for example, I'm talking about September month. My supplier filing the GSTR1 on monthly basis, which data will come in the September month? 2B. Sir, previous month, it means August, due date of the GSTR1, it means 11th September. After that, 12th of September to 11th of October. All such supplier who are filing the GSTR1 between that period will be appear in my 2B. Now, in case the GSTR1 is opted quarterly, then there would be different first month, second month, and third month. We are talking about each month. If my supplier opted GSTR1, opted QRMP scheme, then how the data will appear in my 2B? Sir, for the first month of the quarter, between the day immediately after the due date of the GSTR1, for the preceding quarter to the due date of furnishing the details using the IFF, meaning thereby for the first month. Let's take one example. Talking about July to September quarter. ठीक है. Previous quarter, April to June quarter. What is the due date of the GSTR1? 11th, or is it 13th? It is 13th. The due date has also been amended. So from the previous quarter, the due date of the GSTR1, after that till 13th of the current. It means if I'm talking about the July, previous quarter, April to June, it means 13th July, 14th July to 13th August. Next, 14th August to 13th September. Does it clear? Does it make sense? Any doubt? What information will appear in 2B? Sir, whatever the return which you are filing, the due date of that returns. Due date of that returns. 13th, next day. So 14 from the previous 14th to the current month due date till 13th. So the information which will appear in 2B now from 14 to 13th. Currently it is 11. For the second month, same. Between the date immediately after the due date of furnishing the details using the IFF for the first month to the due date of current month IFF, and last third month between the day immediately after the due date of furnishing the details using the IFF for the second month to the due date of the GSTR1 for the quarters. Next, sub rule 8. The statement in the 2B for every month shall be made available to the registered person for the first month and second month of the quarter a day after the due date of furnishing the IFF, meaning thereby 14th, or in the GSTR1 by the registered person other than quarterly, whichever is later. Whatever later, that will be available. In the third month of the quarter, a day after the due date of furnishing the details of the outward supply in the GSTR1. This is nothing but the specifying the due date. So earlier they were saying in the notification that 28th is the due date for the quarterly aggregate turnover up to 5 crore. Then they are adding the two proviso, 22 for certain state, 24 for certain state having the aggregate turnover up to 5 crore. So now they have added in the rule itself. Rule 61 capital A, it is a new rule. Opting for furnishing quarterly return. Manner of opting furnishing quarterly return. Whatever we have discussed, that has been notified, that has been prescribed in the rule 61 sub rule A. Let's read. We have already explained. Every registered person intending to furnish the return on quarterly basis shall, in accordance with the condition and the restriction as may be notified, indicate his preference from the first day of second month till the last day of the first month. My first slide, initial slide that we have talked about, from 1st May to 31st July, it is given in the rule 61 capital A sub rule 1. Provided where such option has been exercised once, he shall continue to furnish the return unless he has become ineligible or he has opted monthly. Provided further that a registered person shall not be eligible to opt for furnishing quarterly return in case the last return due on the date of exercising such option has not been furnished. A registered person whose aggregate turnover exceeding 5 crore shall opt for furnishing monthly basis from the first month of the quarter. So during the quarter, if my turnover exceed 5 crore, I would become ineligible from the first day of the next quarter. Notification 83 basically provided that the time limit for furnishing the details of the outward supplies GSTR1 required to furnish the return for every quarter, section 39 subsection 1 shall be extended till 13th day of the month succeeding such tax period. I hope now it's clear to everyone that notification 83 is saying that time limit for furnishing the details of the outward supply, time limit for furnishing the details of outward supply in the GSTR1 for which class? For the class of the registered person who are required to furnish the return 3B on quarterly basis shall be extended to 13th day of the month succeeding such tax period. I hope it's clear to everyone. Now the due date for such taxpayer, overall due date is not extended. Overall due date is not extended only to the categories who are filing, who are opting QRMP scheme. Notification number 84. Aggregate turnover up to 5 crore opted to furnish the return QRMP scheme. Then furnish the return for every quarter from Jan 21 onward and pay the tax on every month. What is the two condition? The two condition is the return for the preceding month, whatever the due on the date of exercising the option has been furnished, and where such option has been exercised once, it will continue to furnish the return on quarterly basis. If turnover exceed 5 crore, it become ineligible for quarterly from the first day of next quarter. Deeming option that we have already discussed, that quarterly, monthly or quarterly. Default migration under that slide. Notification number 85, that I'm just saying that notification number 85 is prescribing the method of 35%, which I have explained with the help of example in the circular. So I'm skipping that. You can see that 35% of the tax liability paid by debiting ECL in the return preceding quarter, where the return is furnished quarterly basis, or equal to the tax when the return is filed on monthly basis. When I'm not required to deposit, sir, if there is a sufficient balance in the electronic cash or credit ledger, or tax liability is nil. The notification 86, they have rescinded the notification number 76. What is the notification 76? Prescribing the monthly due date till March. Sir, notification 76 has been issued for prescribing the due date of the GSTR 3B from October to March. Therefore, now they have rescinded, because from Jan, they are going to introduce quarterly 3B. Notification number 87, simple, that extend the time limit for ITC 04 from July to September till 30th November. With effect from, it is effective from 25th October. And now we all know, this is my last slide. We all know that notification number 88 has been issued to make the amendment in the e-invoicing. What is the amendment? From 500 crore, now they have made 100 crore, and which would be effective from 1st of Jan 2020. Meaning thereby, from 1st of Jan 2020, e-invoicing would be made applicable for the taxpayer having the aggregate turnover exceeding 100 crore. From my side, this presentation is completed. I hope कि कुछ आपको clarify कर पाया मैं provision. If you have any doubt, you can ask any question. Yes. CA NV Chaudhary ji, absolutely correct. Anita Tiwari ji, absolutely correct. Invoice furnishing facility. Yes, Joseph ji, absolutely correct. Now you can ask any question if you have. From my side, this presentation is completed. You can ask any question. Thank you very much. Can you please share your email ID so that we can, after this video uploaded in the YouTube, after that I request you to kindly give the email ID. Whatever the email ID will be there, I personally share the presentation to all that participant. Method change back of the fixed for quarter. You are talking about filing of the return or payment of the taxes? Vijay Azmira ji. Suppose I opted first month fixed payment, then will shift self-assessment? Yes. In my view, yes, you can. Only pre-filled with an option to edit. Only pre-filled challan will come with an option to edit. So I can change. There is no problem at all. Reason that why we are choosing only that if I'll choose right now, then it would be default migration option given by the system itself. Even if you will not choose, there is no problem. You can choose till 31st Jan. You can choose till 31st Jan. There is no problem at all. But if you will choose right now, they are not saying you have to choose. If you file the GSTR 3B by 30th November, the system will give the option which you can edit till 31st Jan. So meaning thereby, we are not choosing right now. We are just only filing 3B. And if you file 3B, then system will give the option. Otherwise, I have to select. But the time limit is till 31st Jan. Vijay Miraji, in my view, if I opted first month fixed, I can definitely change the same for the next month, from fixed to self or vice versa. What will be the effective docs for the ITC? In my view, it will be now 2B. It will be now 2B because the reason why I am saying that amendment in the rule 60 sub rule 7. Reason, rule 60 sub rule 7. Excess ITC is there, no required to pay. No required to pay, sir. If sufficient ITC is there, say in the two situation, we are not required to pay the tax on monthly basis. When? If my liability is nil or sufficient balance is available, combining both electronic cash plus electronic credit, I'm not required to pay. Yes, return period is only for Jan to March. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Jan to March. So thank you very much. I hope, thank you very much. On behalf of CASA, on behalf of Educating, I'm thanking each one of the participant for attending the webinar. Any question after uploading the video, you can ask on the YouTube. We will revert at the early. Thank you very much.